Oh, I remember.
Lay. Yeah.
No, I saw that on your Instagram.
Yeah. So Lay came to Miami. He's from Atlanta. Mm-hmm. So he came to Miami for a cruise. And he parked his car at our house because I was like, listen, if I could save you money, like, I don't know if it's going to make sense. You can either park there if it makes more sense. If you could save money, come park at our house and then you can Uber. So he parked his car at our house for a couple of days and he came with his family and took some pictures. He bought me a Bahamas shirt. It was so cute. So good.
Sick.
Yeah. So that's who I've seen. Have you seen anyone else?
No, just like a Boca, which I don't know if you remember him.
No, but you were telling me that. So he was the Cadence King?
Yeah, everybody asked him. He was from 3rd Platoon. So I met him once and I never saw him again.
Okay.
But until I went to my unit.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And you're at Fort Sheridan right now.
Yes.
Right? What goes on at Fort Sheridan? Is it a good unit? Like, what do you guys specialize in?
It's an MI unit.
MI, what does that mean?
Military intelligence.
Military intelligence.
Yeah. So I just did it because actually I was at another unit in Milwaukee. And then I transferred units because I have too much energy to like sit around and do nothing.
Sure.
And honestly, it was a very good decision because they care about making sure that you improve as a soldier and don't just stay stagnant. Like they give you opportunities to grow.
Interesting.
Which is why I liked Fort Sheridan better. And I'm staying there now.
That's interesting. Let's dive into the Milwaukee and like what specifically were they. Like it was just low energy, no growth. Like everyone was kind of a disaster.
You were sitting at it was a drill sergeant unit. So
really?
I was the youngest one there by like 10, 15 years.
Holy shit.
I was the only PFC when I came in. And I was just sitting at a computer all day. And because I didn't have ARNet access, they didn't have anything for me to do.
Sure.
So...
That's interesting. So how long were you there before you transferred?
Like 2-3 months.
How long did it take you to transfer units?
A month.
Because I'm trying to transfer right now, and they're like,
they don't want you to?
No, it's just a mess.
Oh.
Like talking to so many different people, and then like there's civilians involved, and then I have to send it from my civilian email, and it's just like you know what I mean? Like there's so much back and forth. It's not a very efficient process, I'm finding, because I've been trying for like 2 weeks now and I've gotten nowhere. Did
you like your old unit?
Loved it.
Okay.
I think I'm going to like it more than my new unit, but I just don't want to travel back and forth. But it's an airborne unit and it's like super high speed.
Oh, so love that.
Yeah, so like they're jumping, I mean, they've jumped probably 3 times already since I've been drilling with them, which is like, I don't know. I don't even know how many drills we've been to, but like 5 to 8. I don't remember, but they jump a lot and they're like super motivated, but I just don't want to like fly down there, you know?
Do you want to go airborne? Mm-mm. Like, no. Okay.
So they gave us the option. So I'm HHC. What's your MO? You're 42 Alpha.
I mean, we went to AIT together.
You're 42. All AIT. Yeah. Everyone has the same MLS at AIT. So for 42 Alphas, they like gave you the opportunity. They were like, you can if you want, but it's not a priority. But we have slots available. And I'm sitting there, and I'm HHC, so we take care of like the whole battalion, I guess.
It's like HHD, but basically the same thing. Just called a different name.
Yeah. So when I was trying to transfer, I saw HHD. Are you HHD?
I am.
And what is that? So it's just, what does it stand for?
It's headquarters.
Headquarters?
That's basically it. It's S1.
S1, yeah.
Okay. But they're like in the center of everything.
Yeah, so you take in all the soldiers, like doing all their paperwork and like all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we're doing too. Okay. Because when I'm looking, I'm like HHC. That makes sense. But yeah, so I mean, we'll see what happens with that. I just really don't want to fly down, and we're gonna be spending most of our time here. So, did you get a bonus?
Yeah.
Did you already get paid?
It's partial. So they have it like I think it's 25% now, and then another 25% later, and then that other 50%, I don't know what happens with that, but that's what my surgeon said. Yeah.
That's crazy.
I got like 25% of it.
Nice. So mine was broken down as I think like a $10,000 signing bonus and then $10,000 over the course of time, or maybe it was like $7,000 over the course of time, whatever. And I haven't been paid my initial bonus yet, and trying to get that is like pulling tooth and nail. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's like,
it was difficult for me.
How'd you do it? Constant follow up and email.
Yeah, I was just like, hey, when is my bonus coming in? And then they were like, oh, I'm trying to get it from the commander. And it just took 2 months of me asking every time I went to drill and calling, being like, hey, what's up with my bonus, to actually get it to start.
What a bunch of scammers.
No, for real. Yeah.
It's so crazy. And so then if I transfer units, I lose my bonus. Right. So it's like.
Well, I didn't lose my bonus.
And you transferred.
I did transfer.
That's so weird. They told me if I transfer, I lose my bonus.
Sounds like cat.
Suspicious.
Yeah, for real.
That's crazy. Yeah. Well, regardless, I think I want to get paid my like initial bonus before I transfer, just to make sure. Like if something happens, I don't lose it. If I lose the overtime bonus, like I don't really care. But talk about this, okay? So are you signed up for TRICARE?
No.
Okay, so you have health insurance through work?
I have health insurance. Well,
maybe you don't have health insurance.
No,
I don't know.
It's like my family health insurance. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, so you're still on your parents?
Yeah.
Or whatever. How old are you?
I'm 18. I go to community college.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
I had no idea you were 18. I'm almost 10 years older than you.
You're 27?
27.
Wait, when do you turn 28?
July.
Oh, okay.
That's so crazy. See, I wish I would have went through the military stuff as early as you did. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that was one of the best decisions I've made.
Why so?
Early. Because I get a lot more experience than people my own age do, and I kind of get to mature a lot quickly. 100%. It's like, oh, I'm anxious about an exam, or I'm in the rain, and I'm like, oh, this is nothing. I've been through so much worse.
That is so true.
Yeah.
That's so good. I feel like that's what it would have done for me, as well as like just mature you at such a faster pace, like puts you through the struggles. Like, I don't know. There's so many people that went there, even from basic all the way through AIT, that I saw that like they came in and they were all kind of crazy, out of control, like didn't have a lot of discipline. And then by the end, they're just like a whole nother person. Now, does that continue once you go back to civilian? I don't know, but you at least have, like you said, and that experience to like rely on when you're in stressful situations or whatever. How was the gas mask for you? Or the gas that we had to go through in basic?
I was scared, but it was fine.
Yeah.
I honestly would do it again.
What, for fun? Or
yeah, I would. I just thought it was cool. Like the different emotions that you go through when you're doing it. And then the second time around, I wouldn't be scared. I would just know what was
Yeah, you know what to expect.
Yeah.
The unknown is a very scary thing. You know, it's like, I wish we would have gotten tased or pepper sprayed too. You know what I mean? Like, because when else are you going to go through an experience like that? You know what I mean? Like, nobody just gets to go walk in a gas chamber, take off their mask, and like breathe in. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
that's cool shit.
Yeah, nobody's like forced to do that, but obviously the military does, and I think that that's, again, just a cool experience to have and say, hey, I did that. I know what it feels like. But yeah, I wish it would have tased us. I wish it would have pepper sprayed us. I don't know. That's more like police stuff, but
yeah,
whatever. So you're in school right now. What's your major? What's your plans?
So I'm studying psychology, going pre-med for psychiatry.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you're in year one?
Year one.
Freshman? Nice. Are you using tuition assistance?
Yeah.
Okay. I was going to say. Or maybe you had a scholarship or something else.
I mean, FAFSA too.
FAFSA?
Yeah.
All of it, right?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
I think I made the right choice by not going to university, because especially like med school is really expensive. So going to community college, I'm working smarter, not harder. Sure. And then later on, I have loan assistance too through the military. So it's like I can use that when I actually go to a university or go through med school.
Sure. Actually, this actually brings up a very interesting point. I just completed my associate degree from a community college too, right? So that's what you do. You go for 2 years and then you transfer into a 4-year college. Yeah. So I just completed a associate degree from Miami-Dade, which is in Miami. I had a bunch of credits. I only had like 5 classes to take or whatever before I finished my associates. But now I'm taking classes at FIU, and tuition assistance basically covers like the whole thing. So it's super inexpensive.
Wait, where is FIU?
Florida International. So it's like 45 minutes west of Miami.
Are you doing it online?
Yes.
Okay.
It's so fucking easy.
Yeah.
ChatGPT.
Yeah.
I don't know if you take that approach or like.
Honestly, I use the Feynman technique a lot.
What's that?
So there's also this thing called Feynman AI, and the Feynman technique is where you teach others by teaching yourself. So you learn it, but then you teach it to somebody else to make sure you actually understand it.
That's so true.
Yeah.
That is so true. I do that on social media a lot. Like I learn stuff, right? And then I regurgitate it for the audience, but also for myself because it helps it stick.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like that's interesting that you say that. I totally agree with that. What's an example like of something that you've really made sure you understand by using, you said the Feynman technique?
Yeah.
How do you spell Feynman?
Feyman. I actually that might be wrong, but
that's probably the guy who said that's how it works or whatever. Yeah. Okay, that's cool. Yeah, give us an example of like a really cool piece of information or something that you've learned that you've then taught somebody else to remember.
I think just things that I've learned in school, like a lot of psychology things. For example, I did this project where I had to create a character and they had like a mental disorder. So I kind of explained it to my parents, or like attachment styles, just different things that we learn, like brain tumors. Not fun stuff, but
different attachment styles. What's that?
Like anxious attachment style.
Break that down. What is anxious attachment?
So anxious attachment style is when you are worried that somebody is gonna leave you, so you get really anxious, and a lot of it is through parenting. So different parenting styles. So for example, if you were neglected as a child, then you have like, I guess, passive, where you kind of don't care and nothing affects you. So yeah.
Wait,
It's been like
that's so
3
funny.
months since I've learned this stuff.
I think you just explained me.
What?
Like, so you said there's a passive and what is it when you don't care if somebody leaves because you were neglected as a child?
Well, I would have to look that up because I actually forgot.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. Wait, that's so funny. Well, do you have a significant other or anything?
No.
Okay. That's interesting because it's really interesting as you go through a relationship how, like when you start a relationship, you're like, oh, is that person going to leave? Are they interested? You know what I mean? So like, that's kind of where my mind went when you said that, is like, oh, I remember feeling like that at one point.
Yeah.
So, okay. That's super interesting. Tell us some more about psychology.
Well, so I only did one psych class, and that was first semester. For my associates, I'm doing an Associates of Science, and then I'm transferring to get my bachelor's. I'm not an expert in psychology. Yet. Yeah.
Soon to be doctor.
I think the main reason that I wanted to be a psychiatrist is because I have seen a lot of things in my own family about like being overprescribed or underprescribed, and how that affects you.
Like big pharma, like medicine and stuff?
Yeah.
Oh shit. Let's
and like how that can cause addiction. And I've seen it happen in people that are close to me.
Sure.
So I think that's why I just kind of want to be that change. And there are also it's really hard to find a good psychiatrist. A lot of people aren't willing to go through like the med school and the effort that it takes to become one. So I kind of want, like, why not just go for it and be that change?
You only get one life.
Exactly.
You said YOLO. It's YOLO.
Yeah, for real.
That's wow. Okay, so that's your why, is like
seeing it happen.
Overprescription. Let's dive into the overprescription. So what's your belief? Is like all prescriptions are bad, or like what's your consensus that you've come to?
I think, like I said, it's hard to find good psychiatrists out there. I've seen people be overprescribed and like pass out or be addicted to the drugs that they were using. So my consensus is sometimes psychiatrists don't know what's best for you. And sometimes you can get deceived very quickly because people just want to make money. Like the big companies just want to make money.
So I would assume that they're incentivized to give you certain pills based on the pharma company right? Like there's probably incentives. I've seen a lot of documentaries about like psychiatrists or doctors being paid per prescription on a certain brand of pill.
Yeah, especially with opioids. Like painkillers.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Just so you know, so I take 0 pills. Like I'm so against big pharma. It's not even funny. Like I will go to extreme extents to avoid any sort of pill taking, like anything.
Yeah, I don't take anything either.
Like the fact that we have to get the flu shot yearly for the military, like, I'm trying to get exempt from that. You know what I mean? Like I don't want to do that. Like, yeah, I took all the shots when I went in. If we did have to take the COVID shot, like we didn't have to take the COVID shot when we enrolled, but a couple years before us, it was like mandatory required, right? So in my case, if we would have had to when we joined, I would not have joined. So, but yes, like I went through that whole, like I got like 6 shots that one day. You know what I mean? Do you remember that in basic training? Like,
yeah, that was insane.
Day 5, and then you're like deathly sick. I was
reception.
Like,
yeah,
I was pretty sick right after getting all those shots, and I was like, this can definitely, like, this cannot be good for you. No way. So that was super interesting. But yeah, I actually just called for an exemption, and you can get like a federal exemption, or you can get a religious exemption from like shots, for example. And it's interesting, all of the people now coming out. You got RFK and like Joe Rogan, all these guys, right, talking about the side effects of vaccines and babies getting vaccinated early, and like the pharma effects on babies and all these things. And it's such an interesting space, and I think it's becoming more accepted to look for other alternatives of like of fixing these issues, right? So like I think we're getting to an interesting space, and I think it's going to shine some light on what really happens when you start taking pills or prescriptions from big pharma, opioids, for example, vaccines. It's really cool. I don't know. What do you think about all that?
What do I think about the industry of?
I guess the industry, or like, do you think we're heading in the right direction to reduce like overprescription, or like?
I think we're not doing enough.
Okay.
Yeah, especially, well, in community college, at my community college, we're trying to start this thing called the Narcan Initiative, which
I know a Narcan.
Yeah.
I did so episode, I don't know, 20 something was called, there's this guy in Miami, his business is Fentanyl, like fuck fentanyl, right?
Yeah.
And he brought Narcan on the show. And I had never seen Narcan.
Awesome.
Have you played with Narcan? Not played with it, but like seen it, and
yeah.
So I think it's mystified by a lot of people, right? Like they see this thing that you stick in somebody's nose, you push it up, and then like all of a sudden they just wake up from death. You know what I mean? Like people look at it on Instagram and like they're like, "What is that?" So it's kind of cool to like see it in person. It's like a life-saving kit.
I think it should be in all schools.
Okay.
Because you never know what people are going through, or if they're struggling with something like that. And if it does affect them on campus, then it should be available, because it could potentially save a life. So that's what we're trying to get started, where we have it in vending machines. So if someone needs it, they can just get it.
Really?
Yeah.
For free? Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's what this guy did too. It was like, He said he was getting like grants from, I don't even know. He's obviously a nonprofit, but he was getting grants from all over. And he was like, dude, take that. Like, he's like, take a box of Narcan. I'm like, I don't need a box of Narcan.
You never know.
He was like, like, you never know, but like, yeah, you know what I mean? And he's like, I have to, like, this stuff is free. Like, we're trying to like save lives and all that stuff. So, but that was a super cool episode because he was a recovering drug addict. Mm-hmm. So he had like, I forget how it went, but he was addicted, then like got sober, and then now really started helping other people.
Oh, so. I need to watch that episode.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. Like, it was crazy. We're post-military training, at least. You're in school. What other goals, ambitions? I'm assuming that's taking up a lot of your time, right? That's not. How long is it before you're a doctor?
So, I get my bachelor's in psychology. I apply for med school, but before that, I have to study for the MCAT, which I need to start studying for soon, since it is I've heard it's difficult. So, I need to do that, and then the MCAT, I have to pass that and get a good score to actually get into a good med school after I finish my bachelor's, and then I do residency, which is 4 years. So in total, 10 to 12 years.
Okay, I've heard a little bit about residency. I just remember talking to a friend of mine, and his like girlfriend was in residency, and she was just like working so many hours, but the pay isn't that great. And I think that they were planning to go on like strike or something, or there was like a big revolution in the space with residency as a whole, and like trying to get pay increased and all that stuff. Do you know anything about that?
No.
Now, also, I do want to ask you this. What's the difference between an associate in science and an association of arts degree?
So associates of arts is for more art geared things like history, becoming a teacher, and the associates of science is more towards engineering and science.
So I got an AA. So my bachelor's degree is business administration with like a business administration management something, and I got an AA.
Okay. I mean, did the college tell you to get an AA?
I don't know. They didn't tell me shit.
Oh. Okay.
But like, is it AS more classes, or is it just like a STEM situation?
I feel like it can be both depending on, but in my experience, it's more classes, and it's more like biochem, chem.
So then are you going to have to take more credits in general over a 4-year term to get your bachelor's?
It depends on what degree. It depends on what university I go to and then what degree I decide to take.
Okay. Yeah. Interesting. Because to me, it's like because you take what? 30 credits a year is average. 15 each semester. So 30, 60. So 120. So 120 credits should be a bachelor's anywhere, right? I felt like because they asked me if I wanted to take an AA or an AS. And I was trying to figure out the difference. And I'm like, the AS seemed like it made me take more credits.
Did you meet with a counselor before deciding your classes?
The counselor didn't know anything.
Wow.
You know, well, I feel like the counselor was like, do this, do this, do this. And I'm like, but I can do this and this way. Like, she tried to make me take a computer class that I tested out of in 15 minutes. You know what I mean? Like, she's in the business of making the school money. So one thing that I learned, like, going through the process was like, all right, do I really trust these people? Probably not. Like, they just want you to take as many classes as possible.
I think you made the right choice by AA, because AS is definitely more STEM career focused.
Sure. Oh, that's good to know. They also had me trying to take like there were two classes that I tested out of extremely easily instead of taking and wasting a whole 3-credit portion of my semester. Right? So like, my point being is, I think it's very important for everybody everybody to do their research when going to school, and like seeing how you can make it as easy and as quick of a process for yourself as possible. Because I think counselors sometimes like don't have your best interest in mind, just like everybody else, right? Like, everybody's motivated, like big pharma or like the prescriptions that doctors give, right? There's like selfish motivations within everybody. So I think that's one thing that I would say is just not for you particularly, but like just in general, make sure that you're doing
Yeah, I agree.
as quick, as fast as you can, and it's like actually good for you. You know what I mean?
Like know what's best for you and trust
Yeah.
yourself.
Yeah. How many kids at your school right now are using like AI 24/7 to pass all their classes?
Honestly, I don't know.
Yeah.
But I'm assuming almost all of them. Because it's such a big thing now where it's like, why not? And I'm part of my student government,
Okay.
Student Leadership Council, and we're on committees where we work with faculty to make change. And actually, one of the changes that was brought up is AI. And so it's like the faculty is considering doing something about it while they're testing or something, because it's a big problem for them.
Dude. It is so easy. Like, you take a screenshot of that shit, it slide it into ChatGPT, it gives you like a super like proper intense like solution, and then you say make it sound more like me, and then it makes it sound more like me. You know what I mean? Like, it is so crazy. And you come off as one of the, maybe I'm wrong, it's like you come off as somebody that like actually wants to learn, and like you're committed to the process. Like me, I'm so deep into a career that like school just doesn't matter for me. Like, it's a joke. Fine. But there's like something about it in me that wants to finish, and now that it's free, I'm gonna finish. But like, if you're taking classes online, like everybody's ripping ChatGPT, and they're like, it is so powerful. Like, it is the craziest thing. Like, I don't know where humanity's gonna go with it, but like, we don't need to know this anymore. Like, we don't need to know 98% of the stuff that they're teaching us, because you just slide that shit over, and it's like, okay, like I'm good to go. Like, next question. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I think it's a very, very powerful, interesting tool if used in the right ways. I actually just watched a podcast with Tucker Carlson like 2 days ago, and there was a gentleman who was working for OpenAI, and he quit, and he was like whistleblowing OpenAI for scraping data. So they scrape data in like massive amounts, and that data could be copyrighted, right? So then you're taking somebody's copyrighted data and inputting it in, and then like spitting it back out. So he was like trying to whistleblow this, and he ended up getting murdered, and the parents are trying to get justice because the San Francisco like police department and all that stuff said it was like a suicide.
Oh, I've heard of that.
Oh my God. Have you seen?
That's insane. Yeah.
That's so crazy. I had no idea. I'm like scrolling through my phone at like 11:30.
Wait, it was a high school student, right?
No, he was post grad.
Oh.
He was like 26 or 25, I think.
Okay, I actually haven't heard of this. I'm thinking about something else.
I'll send it to you.
Yeah, send it to me.
But like, it was, I'm scrolling at 11:30, and I'm like, oh, I don't want to commit to watching like this. I'm going to watch the first 10 minutes, and then I was just hooked. But he was trying to whistleblow OpenAI and then was murdered. What are some ways that you think you're different civilian now after AIT and Basic?
I think before Basic, I think I was very anxious and scared of failure, and I just kind of let things control me instead of controlling my own emotions. And I think Basic, also, it was my first time on my own, so now I'm not scared to do anything by myself. I don't care. And I'm not scared of failure. So this is something that a lot of people don't know about me. I got recycled at Basic.
Really?
Yeah, because I didn't qual. So.
Oh, with the weapons?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then, like, during the second or third day after I got recycled, I qualled the second time, because in my opinion, there are better drill sergeants at that place. But I think that kind of made me learn how to adapt to any environment, and it also made me very social. I struggled with social anxiety a lot before Basic and AIT. And then at AIT, like, I was a half pride girl. I kind of learned how to make any negative situation positive and to kind of be that force in my own environment. It is what you make of it. And I think that was the biggest thing that I took out of it. Like, you can make anything positive if you make an effort to.
That's amazing. Yeah. I mean, there's so much growth that happens in there. Like, it's such a cool experience.
Yeah.
Eating MREs are not that fun, but it wasn't that bad either. You know what I mean? It's like I think my kids are going to be forced by me to join. Yeah. Like, that's an experience, and particularly at your age, right? Like, that's an experience that needs to happen. Now, yeah, like, it just forces growth so much, and then just wait till you start paying your own bills, though.
Oh.
You know what I mean? Like, once your parents cut you off, that's like, shit.
Oh, I remember. If they cut me off. Yeah.
If they cut you off.
Yeah.
Well, because for me, going through all that, I guess, reminded me of when I first started, like, making my own payments and, like, using my own money, like, renting my own spot. And, like, I always used to be so scared of, like, how am I going to make this work? Like, life is going to be, like, so difficult. But then you just start, like, taking step by step by step by step. And it all kind of comes together, I guess. So it's really not that bad. But, yeah, that's just overcoming a lot. That's super cool. What did you climb? Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to ask, what about you? Like, do you notice any difference, like any big impact that it had on you other than just like growing in general?
I mean, I look at it from a monetary standpoint.
Monetary standpoint.
Okay. So I think my approach was very calculated, and like, I already had a career. You know what I mean? Like,
so what made you join?
Yeah, a lot of people go through and they don't know why they're in it, or they didn't have anything else to do. It's like a last resort option for them. You know what I mean? So that they can get their shit together and, like, go find a job. You know what I mean? For me, it was more of like a, let's ride these benefits. You know what I mean? Like, I pay $250 a month for my entire family to have health insurance. And yes, you have to have certain caretakers and all that stuff. Like, it's like, health insurance for a family on a self-employed, like, I'm self-employed, 1099, you're paying, I don't know, $1,000 a month, something like that. So that was interesting. It's different when you're 18 to I went through at 26.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I should have gone through at your age. It would have benefited me so much more. So much more. Do you stay in contact with any of the anybody from AIT?
I text people occasionally being like, hey, but I do have like a battle bestie.
Yeah.
Shout out Cheney if you're watching this. Yeah. So I stay in touch with her. She said she might come to Chicago in May.
Where does she live?
She lives in North Carolina. Yeah. But she's going airborne soon.
Nice.
Yes.
She's doing the thing. Is she active or reserve?
She's reserved.
Would you ever go active?
No. I would go airborne, but I would not go active.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Why not active?
I have too many personal goals.
Yes.
To do that.
I agree with you 100%. I can imagine, like, being put in a base or whatever and not being able to, like, leave. You know what I mean? Or, like, not being able to move. You know what I mean? It takes away a lot of your freedom. Like, yes, you can live on the base or outside of the base, but just as a general, like, if you're stationed there, like, you can't just up and move or, like,
take a trip somewhere.
It's just like, I'm, like, so good on that.
Like, you're kind of trapped and you don't have that autonomy to.
Exactly.
Mancheski, do you have any goals for 2025?
2025. I want to sell the property in Miami. I'm going to get, next year I want kids. That's my main goal. So I never realized this. And actually, okay, maybe this is what came from the military for me more so. On top of the financial side is, like, when you have a significant other through that process, and then you're not able to see that person or talk to your family who you talk to every day, right? Like, everybody went through this, right? Like, you're not able to see your loved ones, talk to your loved ones. That makes you appreciate them more and the connection you have with them. And I just really want kids right now. Like, I'm so ready for kids. I'm, like, so ready. So coming out, a lot of my life is more focused on getting ready for that. It'll probably happen. So we're getting married in September, and then I hope she's pregnant like the day after.
So exciting.
the day after the wedding. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I'm just ready to pop out a ton of kids and have. And I always used to be super money focused before this, but now I'm starting to focus less on money and more on. I would give up everything. I would live in a cardboard box. Basically like this. This is this very shitty apartment. Basically, if I would live in a cardboard box like this and have kids and a happy family over like anything, which I never saw myself as
family oriented, or
I always knew I wanted kids, but I never knew I would give up anything and everything in order to have them. And I don't have to give up anything and everything, right? Like I'm not in that position, or at least not yet. I don't. Things can change, whatever. But like,
that's so sweet.
do you plan on having kids?
Huh?
Do you plan on having kids?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. A bunch, or
like 3 to 5.
Yeah, I'm yeah. I feel like nowadays you say like anything more than like
2 is crazy.
Yeah, and then once you hit 4, it's like goddamn. But if you say 5, it's like you're out of your mind. So that's so good though.
Do you want to have 3 to 5 too? Like around
4
that?
to 6.
4 to 6.
4 minimum. 4 minimum.
Okay. A little bunch of mancheskis.
Little demon minions running around, flying all over. I'm gonna put them at attention and half right face.
Oh yeah, front leaning crush.
They're gonna be. You know, what would they say when we were doing push-ups? Like, what was the command?
3, 1.
No, like half right face, front rest position, boom.
Yeah,
that's so crazy.
Good times.
Do you have any crazy stories or funny stories from training?
Yeah, I don't think I do. I mean, it's been almost a year, so I don't necessarily remember.
That's why I'm trying to like go through my head right now, and I'm like, I like forgot a lot.
Yeah. Ooh, one good decision that I did make was I bought a disposable camera, and
nice.
Because you can't use a phone, so instead of using a phone, I would just have my camera with me.
Sure.
So I used that to capture moments that other people couldn't capture.
Sure.
So that was like a good decision I made.
I'm guessing you developed the film and you have.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so good. So I remember when we were in the DFAC eating, and somebody dropped their spoon or a fork, and it hit the ground. It's like clink, 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 and I was like, and drill sergeant is like, pick it up. And then he goes, tell the fork how much you love the fork.
Wait, was this? Okay, I think I know who this was.
I don't remember who it was.
Okay.
But so the guy's standing there holding the fork up like this. He's like, I'm sorry, fork. I'm sorry, fork.
That was so funny.
I love you, fork. Oh, my God. That was so good.
That was so fun. Actually, I do have a story. So I think it was like the second to last ruck. I lost my BFA.
Okay.
And I got smoked for losing my BFA. And that was like the only time that I got smoked in front. I was late to class, whatever. And it actually, am I allowed to say the name here?
Probably. Yeah.
Okay.
The Joe Sergeant name?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Joe Sergeant Cannon.
Okay.
And I was like, I didn't even know what I was getting smoked for. And then he was like, yeah, we don't have another BFA. Then, during the last minute of smoking me, he had a BFA out. And he was like, yeah, we do for like dumb people like you. And I just thought that was really funny. But he was definitely one of my favorites.
He was the coolest, man.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yes. So for those of you that don't know, a BFA goes on the end of your weapon, and it basically...
In case, like, there's a misfire, it protects that from that. But they don't use it in the real army.
Yeah, and there's no, like, ammunition in the weapon either. So, yeah, it's like, it's weird. Mm-hmm. It makes it feel a lot more safe, and I think it has a lot more to do with psychology for people than the actual practicality of it.
Yeah.
You know, it's like a weird little toy thing you put on the end of your weapon. But okay, so that is so funny. Oh, okay. So I lost my BFA a couple times. So I lost a couple things a couple times, right? But then, I don't know why it always happened this way, but I would always find what I lost, but not mine, somebody else's. So this is what I learned. So particularly in basic training, right? Anytime you see something that was of value, like you couldn't lose it, like gloves, for example. Everyone was always losing gloves. People were always losing BFAs. Some people would lose, like, I don't know, belts. Like I collected a couple belts, but I would put all this shit. I would take all of it. Even if it wasn't mine, pick it up. If somebody said, hey, I'm missing this, like I would be like, okay, like here, I have an extra one or whatever. But I had this collection as like a backup in my locker because I was too afraid to like ever reach out, like talk to a drill sergeant if I lost something. So I just made this collection and it ended up working out. But my buddy, Arturo, joined the military right after I got back. A bunch of people reached out to me. They're like, hey, like I've been thinking about this. I'm sure, did that happen to you as well? They're like, I've been thinking about it, but I didn't.
In school, people were really shocked because they didn't know anybody else like my age that was in the military.
Sure.
So they thought it was so cool, and I was like, it's whatever. Yeah.
I feel like a lot of people always wanted to do it but never did it, and those are the people where it's like it's very interesting. And they reached out and they were like, oh, hey, how was it? Like, I always thought about it, da-da-da. They never did. So, like, when I'm on my deathbed, I really don't want to regret anything.
Exactly.
Like, that's my biggest fear. Gary Vaynerchuk, do you know who that is? He's a big social media guy. He always talks about if you really want to learn about life, go to an old folks' home and ask them what they regret. Right? You're going to see, like, the dread in their eyes. Like, they don't have time. They can't go and, like, do this thing that they always wanted to do. Like, they're at the end of their life, you know what I mean? And like that's some of the most painful feelings that you can have. So that's interesting. I don't want to be that person, so I do everything I can to avoid that. A lot of people want to join the military, but they can't because
personal things,
but like they can't afford it.
Well,
like you get paid, but do you get paid? Like you get paid so little, right? Imagine if you're 26 like me going in.
Oh, having to pay the bills and everything.
Insurance,
exactly.
You have rent. Yeah. I have rental properties that pay that, right? Like that's another thing that like was a unique situation for me going in. But like once you get to a certain age and you have all these responsibilities, if you overspend your means, is like you can't go.
Yeah,
like, you literally cannot go. You know what I mean? So like, and that's different at your age, right? Like when the responsibilities are still on your parents. So, but yeah, so that was something interesting because a lot of people reach out and they're like, oh, I always wanted to, but now I can't, or da-da-da-da-da. My buddy, so Arturo came and did a podcast and I kind of gave him some advice. And this was when I was fresh out, so it was all top of mind. But I like showed him like the bags, like I showed him like all the equipment he's going to get. I was like, buy boots, buy boots. Did you ruck in the boots that they gave you, or did you ruck in?
I did until AIT started.
Yeah, me too. But our drill sergeant would not, our senior drill sergeant would not let us buy boots. And I didn't necessarily want to buy boots at that time because I was like, I guess I don't know. But once I bought new boots, my world became much easier. Oh my God. Okay, let me tell you this. So remember the ruck in AIT, the second ruck?
Yes.
I rucked with a 35 or 45 pound belt, 35 or 45 pound kettlebell in my ruck.
Oh wait, I think I remember this. Oh my gosh.
So funny. That shit was heavy.
It was 7 miles, right?
I don't
It was a 7-mile ruck.
I think, but it was heavy. I was like, oh, this is going to be a breeze, no problem. But like halfway through, I was like, fuck, what if I fall out?
I guess it was the Ranger PT part of you.
That's right. Oh, yeah, we did do Ranger PT.
I always like recommend that people, I don't know.
That was so good.
Yeah.
It did fuck on my leg, though. I'm not going to lie. Something happened. So after that ruck, where I put that kettlebell in there. All right, so let's do that. Get back from the ruck. And I'll take off our rucks, right? And you're like so excited to be done. You like set your shit down. And out of my ruck falls over. And out of the top of my ruck comes this kettlebell. It's like rolls out. And the people around me were like, they'd look at me like, what the fuck? I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna be here. I'm gonna like challenge myself.
Exactly.
I was bored. You know what I mean? Like, there's only so much shit you can do. There's only whatever. So I was like, okay. So that was kind of like a very funny moment. They didn't really say much. They just like looked at me like, what the fuck? But yeah, and then after that though, my leg, like down the side of my leg, it would go numb when I ran. So then I couldn't go to Ranger PT. I was like, son of a bitch.
Oh, that's
I really
why.
enjoyed it.
Yeah, I remember. We're like, man, we're missing one of our fastest people.
Yeah, I don't know, dude. It seems. So I tried to. Have you ever run like a marathon or a half marathon?
Yeah.
You did a full?
No, okay, so I signed up for my first full marathon, and I'm training for my second half marathon.
Is your second half before your full?
Yes.
Okay, when's your full?
December.
That's exciting.
It's in Honolulu.
Oh, shit. Good for you.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Why not, you know?
That's so cool.
Yeah.
And again, it's kind of like going through the military. Completing a marathon puts you in an elite group of people. You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, half marathons, like just running. Average
Yeah.
people don't run, period.
yeah, I agree. Half is like, but a full is like, shit.
Yeah. But I
In
haven't
my
completed a full yet.
But you will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you, like,
No.
signed up? Oh.
I did a half. I'm so confident I could run a half marathon tomorrow, no problems, backwards. You know what I mean? Like I played sports in high school, so I think my body adapted that way. But like a full, I signed up for my full, and the same thing happened to me. My leg like went numb.
Oh.
Because I signed up on the plane. I was on the plane flying to Miami, and I'm like reading this book, and it's like, do something you've always wanted to do but have never done. So I signed up for the marathon, gave myself like 3 weeks to train. I was like,
shit.
yeah, that training regimen was pretty rough.
Did you end up doing it?
Well, I ran like 21 miles like the week before I was actually going to go to the marathon. So I don't know. I went probably half marathon. I went probably 12 miles, 15 miles, 7 miles, and then like 21 miles. And I'm like, fuck it, I'm just going to bowl through this marathon. But then I got hurt and I went to the marathon and I'm like 3 miles in and I'm like,
Oh my god! Wait,
I can't do
so
it.
you ran the marathon in Florida, like in Miami, or well, you like ran part of it in Miami.
no, Chicago actually. This was when I was living in Wisconsin.
This was the Chicago Marathon.
Yeah.
Oh, I tried signing up. It's like a lottery thing. I don't know. Okay, so
It wasn't back then.
when did you sign up for it?
This was probably 5 years ago.
Oh, so now they have a lottery for it. Where you have to. I didn't know this, so I couldn't do it. But you have to sign up in October, where you're guaranteed lottery, and then near like the start of November, it closes up, and you have to have like a really good time to even get in.
Oh yeah, this was in Chicago, but maybe it was a different marathon. Maybe it wasn't the big one or something. I don't know, but yeah, it was. I was pretty frustrated, but I still haven't run a marathon.
Yeah, well, you should put it on your 2025 bucket list.
I should.
Yeah.
It's not hard for me. It's just my body won't. Like I got some weak ass IT band or something.
Can I give you a recommendation?
Please, yes.
So I used to have Runna. Which,
Are you NNA?
what does that mean?
You said you use the app Runna?
RUNNA.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, what was your question?
Is that how you spell
Yeah, it's called Runna.
Okay. Yeah.
And basically, like professional athletes, some Olympians, and they're the coaches that coach you through the training. You can get code GIFTED, GIFTED, all caps, for 2 weeks free. And then you can see if you like it. But basically, they give you a full training plan, and it's personalized based on you. And it has like the workouts, speed training, all of that.
How long is the training regimen for a marathon?
For a marathon, I don't know. I'm training for my half, and I have like 19 weeks.
That shit's gonna be too easy for you.
Yeah.
That's not a problem.
I've already done a half. So
Yeah.
But I highly recommend it if you want like a structured plan.
How do you find time to train with school and all the other stuff you have going on?
So when I have break right now, and break ends January 27th, but I trained for my half marathon like when I got back from, so like July to September, mid-September, and I like would wake up at 4 or 5 a.m.
That's what I was gonna ask.
And then I would have class at 8.
Damn.
And like take a shower before class.
You're a hustler.
Yeah. I think running affected my whole day because the reason I run is a lot. Like, it's for my mind, mostly. It helps my anxiety. It helps me know that I can do hard things. So when life throws something at me, I'm ready. And that's why I run.
That's interesting. I think, yeah, running definitely like calms your mind. I don't know. I also think that there's something to be said about doing something hard every day. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like you feel accomplished. Like, and then if you miss a day, you're like, well, I didn't do shit. And then you're a little bit agitated, or at least me, I get a little agitated. And then I'm less pleasant to be around. You know what I mean? Like with Anna, for example, if I work out, I'm in a much better mood and I'm easier to be around than if I don't work out, for example. And I was actually listening to Joe Rogan's podcast with Mark Zuckerberg, and Zuck said he tore his ACL doing jujitsu. So he couldn't do jujitsu. But his wife was like, you're going back to doing jujitsu right when that is healed because you're so much more pleasant to be around. So I think, yeah, running really helps me with that particular thing, and just doing something difficult every day to be a little bit tired and feel accomplished.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So. Yeah. I mean, who's gonna lift the boat?
That's so good. Would you ever be a drill sergeant?
I've thought about it. Like reserves drill sergeant, not. But I am going to BLC in the summer. You
are?
Yeah.
I'm torn.
I'm sorry?
I'm torn. I don't know.
You don't know if you want to?
No, I don't know. Yeah. I might just be a specialist forever.
It depends on where your life is at.
Yeah. You can do it online now in some cases, I think, which would be like, I would rip that shit. It's like,
I mean, it's a month.
Yeah. I think it's like
3 weeks.
Is it? Yeah. I don't know. 14 or 19 days or something. But it's like, you have to go to be promoted to sergeant, right?
Yeah.
Or if you get promoted to sergeant, you have like 9 months to do it. And then and then they take it away. Then they put you back to specialist if you don't do it or something. I think that's the spiel. You're going to have to let me know how BLC is.
Okay, I will.
Because then, okay, so it's going to go sergeant. What's the next rank? Sergeant.
Staff sergeant.
Staff sergeant. First sergeant.
Yeah.
Right. So those three are BLC. Mm-hmm. And then ALC is anything above that?
I think so.
Yeah, I think so. But why don't you just go officer if you're going to
like, are
graduate?
You ROTC?
Maybe ROTC, maybe not. I don't know. But like, here's my thing. I wish I would have completed college before joining, because if you become an officer, you basically waste all the time you spent in AIT, right? Because AIT isn't required for officers.
I don't know how I would be an officer, though. Like, I don't know how that process works.
Oh.
Yeah. I would have to research it more.
Well, I mean, you already went through basic, so all you have to do is like graduate, but then you go to bulk. It's called Basic Officer Leadership Course, I think. But it's basically in place of AIT.
Okay.
Yeah, it's super interesting.
Do you know how long it is?
I think it's a little bit longer than AIT. A little bit longer.
I think one of our battle buddies, Lay.
He got recycled 3 times.
For bulk.
For bulk.
And he did that before AIT, right?
Yeah. So he wanted to go. He wanted to be an officer, but got recycled. I guess I'm actually not gonna say because I don't know.
Yeah.
I love him though. He was like one of my favorite.
Funny uncle.
He was one of my favorite people in all of AIT. It was so good. His Mustang was parked like outside the barracks like the whole time. It's so funny. Well, yeah. Anything else you want to say before we wrap it up? I don't know how long it's been. It feels like 40-ish minutes or so, but
yeah. I mean, do you want to talk about anything?
Not that I can think of it. Jogging my memory right now with the military stuff is like tough.
Yeah. Well, what would you say is the hardest part of basic or AIT?
Being away from your loved ones. That's what I would say. What about for you?
Learning to do things on my own.
Sure.
And be independent.
Sure.
Because that was like my first time on my own. But I think that is what improved my overall like confidence and made me better, because now I don't care if I have to do things alone.
I want to preface something with this. I think everybody between the ages of 16 to 20 anxiety and all that stuff is like such a normal thing. Like nobody talks about, well, there's people that talk about it, but like you're not supposed to be confident, in my opinion, at that age.
This is like when you're figuring out who you are.
Yeah, like what have you done in your life that is worth any sort of, I'm excited for me that I did this. You graduated fucking high school?
Basic training is something like that.
No, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
Basic training, yes. That's like the first notch. But basically what I'm saying is like for
the
people
normal person.
Yeah, I'm saying like if you have anxiety between 18 and 20, I did too. Everybody does. It's normal. Like you're going to go through it. Like you're not like the only person in the world that has this. I used to feel like, well, it doesn't seem like they have anxiety. Like why do I feel this way? It's like, no, like everybody has that. And then what happens is you start stacking wins, right? So like now you got the military. Like, okay, that's win one. I can plant a flag in that and say I'm confident about that. I've done something that a lot of people do, right? Next is going to be your marathon. That's 2 flags, 2 confidence things. Like, boom, motherfucker. Yeah. I got this and I got that. Then you're going to graduate with your bachelor's degree, another flag. And then from there, it's doctor, boom, right? So then you got 4 stacks. And then let's say you buy a house, 5 stacks. Let's say you do something else, 6 stacks. You know what I mean? At some point, like, that's what builds the confidence, I feel like, in somebody is their achievements, right? But when you're 18 to 20 and you haven't graduated college or you haven't gone to the military and have done nothing, you deserve, this is harsh, you deserve to feel anxious because you haven't done anything. Like get your ass up and go figure it out and like go do something. Like the only way to get confident is to stack wins, in my opinion.
Yeah, stop being complacent.
100%. 100%. And I don't know. What do you say about that? How do you?
No, I agree. Yeah.
For me, it was my properties, right? Like every time I bought a property, it was like, okay, like, and it also bought me freedom, right? Like when you buy, so it was like property one, like, okay, I'm excited. I wasn't going to school, mind you. So it was like all my friends are in college and I'm trying to tell them about like how much money I made on this property deal. They're like, dude, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Like I'm just trying to graduate here. Like I really don't want to hear about this. But like every stack for me was a property, and that's really what led. And then obviously now it's like getting married, and then it's having kids, and then like so within those stacks comes confidence. And like I just remember when I had nothing, and it was tough.
Yeah.
It was very tough.
I remember I saw this thing about med school where it's like, oh, once I finish residency, I'm going to be happy. Once I get a job, I'm going to be happy. So it's like, it's also about enjoying the process. And like spending time with your family and just appreciating the little things along the way too.
100%.
Yeah.
And a flag, I admire doctors. You know what I mean? Like that's no joke to fucking go through that commitment, and anybody that is appreciative of commitment and hard work and dedication, like it's just a very valuable thing to have. So like, yeah, once you're done, you're going to have a ton of student, or maybe not because of the military or however it works out. But typically a lot of people have a ton of student debt.
Yeah.
Right? And they're like, they look back and they're like, damn, was it worth it? Or should I just got my bachelor's and then started a business? And then like, I think there's always that juggle of like, oh, should I have, or, oh, could I have done it this way? It's like, well, you chose the way you chose, and there's no way to go back in time. So, yeah, I admire doctors a lot because it's like a really cool thing. Like anything that is super hard work,
like requires grit.
Yeah. And that's like very respectable. It should be across the board. You know what I mean? So, I do know that a lot of doctors, and this is just me telling you this now, it'll apply in the future, is like a physician's loan. You can buy property with a physician's loan, which is like, I forget what it is. I think it's like low down payment or low something. You get incentivized to buy a property because you have access to a physician's loan. So I had a lot of doctors in Miami reach out to me about that. That was pretty cool to help them. Just high quality, like dedicated people.
Yeah.
It's fun to work with people like that. Okay, let's talk about this real quick. Are you good on time?
Yeah.
Okay. So.
Wait. Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. What time is it?
It's 11:15.
Okay. So one thing, I think a lot of people put a lot of respect on the military and like, oh, hey, like they were in the military. They should be disciplined. They should be dedicated. Like they're going to be great employees, for example. You know what I'm saying? But then there's also people that just are an absolute mess and come out of the military. You know what I'm saying?
That was me coming in.
Yeah.
100%.
But now you're out and you're different.
Yeah.
But there's still people that went through and they're still a fucking mess. Like an absolute mess. So it seems to me that there's two separate buckets of military people, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's I've never thought about it like that. I think it's about perspective and the way that you, like when you were in it, what you took out. Because you get out what you put in. And if you didn't put enough in and just put in the bare minimum, then you're not going to learn much.
Yeah. Some people have very positive connotations with people that are in the military or have been through military training, and then very negative, right? It's like, and that's the perspective of that particular person, right? So it's like they've either seen this or formulated that opinion in some way. It's like, I don't know. It's such an interesting space, and it's just based on experience, I guess. But it's wild. There are two sides to this. A lot of people come out and they're a mess, and a lot of people come out and they're super great. So,
yeah.
It's crazy. That's all I wanted to touch on, but I think that's it.
So I have a question that I want to ask you.
Yeah.
What advice would you give your younger self?
In regard to what? Just in general? I value freedom to the highest level. Like being free, being able to make your own decisions when you want, how you want. And it has given me a lot of opportunities that I don't think a lot of other people have had, for example. So I would, if I could go back, I would just buy as much fucking real estate as I would have bought way more fucking real estate. Because with freedom comes confidence, right? Like for me, that was my confidence. It got me a beautiful fiance. It's allowing me to be in Chicago while also having a place in Miami. Like it has allowed me to do so much, and life is still difficult with that freedom and like the position of cash flow. And I know 99.9% of people don't have that, and I don't know how they're alive. If I didn't have the cash flow coming in and the freedom, that I would like not want to be alive. I'm so serious. And maybe that's why it happened the way it did, but I would be like grinding my face off, like smashing my face in the pavement, like literally pulling one tooth out per time, like 6 jobs, I don't care what it would take, in order to buy cash flow. So as a general consensus, I don't know if that's where you wanted to go with it or if you were looking for more like a confidence question. But
I mean, I don't know much about what you're talking about.
Yeah. But just buy your freedom. Like you have to get your freedom as fast as you can, so you're not reliant on other people to like exist. Like
fully independent.
I'm trying to think of how it would work in your scenario. Like you're going to be a doctor.
Well, that's the goal.
So when you get out, right, you're not going to have much freedom, I don't think, because you're probably going to be working for somebody else.
Yeah, and I'm probably going to have to pay off a lot of debt.
Exactly. It's going to be miserable. It's going to fucking suck, right? But then there's going to be a point in time where that flips. And you've paid off all your debt, and you have a bunch of money in the bank.
Yeah.
Right? Now, with that money, you can either choose to make more money, or you can let it sit there and burn a hole in your pocket and lose value from inflation and all that shit, right? Or you can choose to like just spend all of it on extremely fancy cars and nice houses and stuff, right? So like once you hit that, I think it's just important to worry about buying your time and nothing else. Nothing else, just buy time. Okay. That's what I would say.
Well, thank you for that, Mancheski.
Oh,
thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Of course. It was great talking about, I don't know, military, psychology, psychiatry, all of the different things. Yeah. So thank you so much for coming on.
Of course.